We are live on the Bullpen Podcast. I am your host, Chris Krogman. You can find me at Shy Bears 1985 on Twitter. Find me on Facebook. Most likely, I'll throw you a friend back if you friend me. And am joined by my main man, Adam Kunos, at Kunos19 on Twitter. He's also on Facebook, but he doesn't like people, so don't try to friend him.
Yeah.
Just You can follow the podcast on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. Please do so on all of those medias. We are on Twitter at the Bullpen Pod, Bullpen Lounge on Facebook, probably Bullpen Podcast on Twitter. I don't know if we've updated anything. I'm just going to tell Juan we're taking it back because I'm tired of rebranding. We're sponsored by Fanatics, as you well know. Head on over to Fanatics for all your Father's Day on-field gear, including hats. Get your City Connect gear, get your favorite team gear, get your wife's favorite team gear, your dad's favorite team gear. Get some gear. Use our link, save some money. Adam, Mr. Kunos, how are you tonight? Are you ready for the Tampa Bay Lightning to win against the Rangers? This is the best goalie series I think I've seen in forever.
So this is the best goalie series I think we've seen in a couple of seasons going into NHL playoffs, and this is actually a kind of almost a family series now because we cheer for the Lightning in this household. However, my brother-in-law is a huge Rangers fan, so I know that he'll be watching the Rangers series over the next week and a half as it goes down to Tampa. I think this is going to be probably the best conference championship out of the two. No offense to the Western Conference.
They scored 14 goals last night, dude. It was bananas. Like, Colorado was up 7-3 at one point, and Edmonton came storming back, almost tied the game 7-6, and I think Colorado won 8-6. But yeah, that was nuts. But this is not a hockey podcast. But I see your Bruins banner back there, and I always want to talk just a little bit of hockey because it's fun.
Just a smudge. You
got your White Sox hat on. It's the hockey playoffs, so we got to talk about it. Stanley Cup playoffs is absolutely thrilling, so got to hit on that a little bit. But this is a baseball podcast. We do cover all of Major League Baseball, so we might as well not steer ourselves away into other sports. So, are you doing well? You're getting over your cold. You sound better.
I am sounding a lot better. I am not coughing up. I'm still coughing up a little bit. I'm not coughing up a lung like it was last week. However, now my wife is feeling as bad as I was last week, so she's currently in about feeling the same way I was about a week ago. So hopefully in a couple of days she gets better, and we get this whole flu bug out of this house, and we are both taking 100% going into June. But it's kind of a weird season here in Florida where we'll get this rain, then humidity mix. So start of hurricane season down here, and I think we already got like a hurricane in Mexico and the Gulf that could be coming this way. I'm not 100% sure. So,
are you trying to scare all of our people in the South, all of our listeners in the South?
We're
everybody out.
If it's nothing over a Cat 3, people will just put a couple sandbags in. If it starts to get like Cat 4, then we start to get a little worried down here. And with our little tiny home, we have to pack up and kind of evacuate because we're in a little bit of a floody area down here in our neighborhood. So,
is that the official name for it, a floody area?
Yeah, I like calling it a flood area, but no, our area does flood very frequently, even when just like rains on a regular day.
High flood zone.
Yep, high flood zone. But the entire state of Florida is a high flood zone, so that does not say much.
Are there parts of Florida that are like negative altitude? Like Louisiana has a few parts where it's like -10 or some shit. Like you're 10 feet below sea level when you're
the entire city of Miami sits below sea level. Let's just put it like that.
That's crazy, dude. That is crazy.
And you wonder how the Marlins don't have floodouts every once in a while.
What do they do? Like, what does the city of Miami do? Do they have like a lot of like
they have
coastal floods?
they have a lot of coastal floods when it's high tides. Some of the parts of Miami will flood when it's high tide down there, just with how ridiculously low this city sits below sea level and how much we built on the beach down here in Florida. And it's just crazy. I mean, I live in a swamp down here, so what do you want me to do?
Well, I mean, I know like some people like to board up their houses. Is that an option for you? Can you throw some
No,
plywood up?
our house are so. If you don't know, we live in RV. We just close everything up. We put everything away, and we go stay at a pet-friendly hotel for a duration.
All right. Well, it is what it is. You do what you got to do. So let's talk some baseball. We need to recap the series like that, or that we went over with our guest last week, Mr. Adam Raymer from Time to Fly Pod. Uh, go follow him. Go follow his podcast. Great guest. Big Cardinals fan. Had a lot of interesting things to say about the history of the Cardinals, the current team, the prospects coming up. So go listen to last week's episode if you didn't get a chance. Check out Adam and his podcast. First series was Adam's team, the St. Louis Cardinals. Brewers Cardinals. Mr. Kunos, can you go ahead and break down how this series played out? Actually, tell everybody who each person had, and then tell us how it played out.
So, fun fact: everyone across the board picked a series split. So I picked a series split. You picked a series split. Adam picked a series split, and it ended up being a series split. Cardinals win the first game 4-3. Brewers take the second and third game. They take game 2 4-2. They take game 3 8-3. Then the Cardinals shut out the Brewers 8-0 in game 4. Couple of big storylines. Paul Goldschmidt, 3 home runs in this series. You talk about a hitter who's just starting to catch fire and who you do not want to get on a hitting streak is Paul Goldschmidt. I mean, he has 3 home runs versus the Brewers. Lauer improves to 5-1, with his ERA going to 2.31 in his outing. The Brewers' bats wake up in Game 3. They had 3 homers in just the third game alone. Pearson, Tells, and Kane all hit with a homer. And then how about Corbin Burns in his series finale against the Cardinals? 7 innings pitched, 11 Ks, 2 hits, and 1 walk. So we talk about a pitcher who's probably starting to catch fire at the right time, who we saw as a Cy Young candidate last year, who kind of had an up and down start to the season. He's now starting to catch fire. So Brewers and Cardinals series split, and you kind of have a feeling this is how the season's going to go for both teams when they meet. They're going to be close games. You may have one blowout in one of these series. It may be a very rare occasion, but these two teams are going to be going at each other for the next 4 months, especially for the NL Central.
Yeah, Corbin Burns, that's a huge story. Like we said at the beginning of the year, he didn't look like himself, and a lot of that is probably lockout hangover. Without a full lockout, pitchers are not performing as well as we'd anticipated, especially the historically good ones. Some guys' velocity is down. Corbin Burns has seemingly come out of his little sluggish start. He is now odds-on favorite to win the NL Cy Young. I'm going to argue with that if Jake comes back and is absolutely dominant, because I'll just argue for the sake of arguing, and I love Jake, but he is close to healthy, so we'll see if he's going to put together a second half to rival Corbin Burns and the other leaders of the National League Cy Young race. But Corbin Burns is a beast, absolute monster. And this series, like you said, Adam, is very in big indicator of how these two are going to match up throughout the year. Cardinals playoff team last year switched their coach out and seemingly have gotten better. Added Goldschmidt, obviously, is a massive bat in the middle of that lineup. Or Arenado being back now is huge for them as well. So Yeah, two good teams. Next series we covered was over in the American League. The New York Yankees versus the Tampa Bay Rays. They hadn't played this season. Raymer had it at. I combined your names. Raymer had it at 3-1 for the Yankees. I took a series split 2-2. Kunos, you had it at 2-2 series split, and the series did split. So I think we're getting better at this as the season goes on. The Yankees won game 1 7-2, took game 2 2-0. Rays won game 3 3-1, and game 4 4-2. So game 3 through 4, or game 2 through 4, excuse me, very low scoring, kind of what I expected to see out of these two teams. Good pitching from, everybody, honestly. Like Nestor Cortez in game 1 going 8 innings, allowing 4 hits and had 5 strikeouts. He continues his dominance on that Yankee staff. James Talion going 8 innings in game 2 and allowing 2 hits and 5 Ks for the Yanks. Rays came back in game 3, won with a lot of small ball. Garrett Cole had a good outing for the Yankees, though. Still pitched 6 innings, had 10 Ks and an earned run. And then in the series wrap, Shane McClanahan went 6 innings, gave up 7 Ks, or had 7 Ks. He continues to pitch very well for the Rays. So these two teams are going to be battling. We're going to see a little regression from the Yankees. They couldn't have kept that up. They also have had a lot of injuries with Giancarlo being out, and now Josh Donaldson being on suspension. And I think is he on IL now, like a 10-day IL stint?
Yeah, he's on the 10-day IL, so he's going to be out for at least a couple more days. I don't know when he serves his official suspension, but yeah, he's on the IL as of right now.
He didn't serve that suspension yet? I thought he did. My bad.
I think he appealed it, but I don't know when if they says he officially served it or not. But yeah, this series, Chris. Again, two good teams in the AL East, probably your top 2 contenders in the AL East, who will probably be competing for that top spot. And what surprised me is McClellan at the end of the series said the Yankees are beatable. So a lot of people are saying like the Yankees won't be beatable at the start of the season. The way they're playing, they're hot. You can't beat them. This proves that the Yankees can be beaten. They are vulnerable when it comes to injuries. So they can be beaten. No team is invincible from start to finish, unless you're like the 27 Yankees with Murder's Row, or the 2001 Seattle Mariners. But it's just going to be a good series going forward. And I think when we get to the next series with the Yankees and Rays, I think it's going to be another close game, another close series. I mean, you may have one game, kind of like the Brewers and Cardinals, where it's going to be maybe one lopsided game based on offense. But I think these teams match up very well together on paper and even better on the field.
Yeah, definitely. The standings for the East right now, give me 1 second. I had it up, and now I got to find the page again because I'm slow. Oh, crap. Please hold.
I'll see if I can get it.
I got it. Yankees are up 5.5 games on Toronto, who has stormed back. They're starting to play a little bit better. Tampa is third at 28-21. And Boston, welcome to the race, Boston. 23-27. I feel like they are just on fire. Even though they're 10-5 in their last 10, it feels like they played much better. Toronto, hottest team in that division, 8-2 and won 6 in a row. Yankees do still have the best run differential in the division at plus 79 runs. But that is another just fantastic division in baseball. I would say top to bottom, best division in the American League. but the West is definitely catching up as far as divisions go. Central is just not top to bottom as good, but either way, that AL East is going to be an excellent division for the remainder of the year, I think. Last series, Blue Jays Angels, like we said, Blue Jays storming back. They hadn't played this season. All of us missed a little bit on this one. We all had the Angels going 3-1 on this series, and the Blue Jays straight swept the Angels 6-3, 4-3, 6-5, 11-10. Sounds like a tennis match. If you watched the French Open, great matchup between what's his name? I always get his name Djokovic or Jokic mixed up. So Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal. Great French Open matchup. So that's what that sounded like to me. 6-3, 4-3, 6-5, and then 11-10. That's not a tennis score, but either way. 11 total home runs in this series. Total runs scored. Toronto had 27. Angels 21. Lots of runs. Lots of fun. Lots of offense. Not much pitching. What'd you think of this series, Adam? You think Blue Jays are back?
I would agree that I think the Blue Jays are storming back. Just the way they came into the series. I mean, you had Shohei Ohtani, who had 2 home runs in the series finale, but other than that, wasn't much of an offensive threat this entire series. I mean, but looking at the series as a whole, 11 total home runs hit between the two teams, and you had almost 50 runs scored in this series. So just a lot of offense in this series, and they were in LA, and that is a very friendly hitting friendly park when you look at some of the dimensions, especially down the line, and with some of the outfield wall dimensions as well. One thing I did think was cool was Vlad Guerrero Jr. his first home run in LA, kind of a little sentimental moment for him with his father playing 5 seasons in LA. Obviously, Angel fans know Guerrero pretty well. Had 131 home runs in 5 seasons with the Angels from 04 to 09. A couple playoff runs over there, so he had a kind of little, not big sentimental moment as playing in Canada, but obviously, LA being a second home for Guerrero, a little bit of a sentimental moment for him, kind of following in his father's footsteps, which I think he's actually going to be better than his father when you look at final career stats. He'll have probably more home runs, definitely a lot more playoff appearances than his father did with that Blue Jays team right now. You look puzzled.
I love Vlad Guerrero Sr., man. I mean, that's one of my dudes growing up. I always liked playing or watching Vlad Sr. So now I'm going to have to look at something I don't think he'll, like that Junior will do, is hit for average like his father did.
No,
his dad was a 330 hitter, for a good portion of his career. Won the MVP, finished third twice, won multiple Silver Slugger awards. You think he's going to have – how many home runs do you think Senior has?
I know he's over 500. I think he has 540, 545.
He's not over 500.
Really?
No. He's under 500 by 51 home runs. He has 449 home runs.
Oh, okay.
But still, that's a shit ton.
That is still a shit ton of home runs, but I mean, I'm not going to go by Guerrero Jr. if he surpasses his dad in home runs.
He's like, Senior played 16 years in the bigs. I mean, I'm not saying that Junior can't do it, but Senior holds a special place in my heart. Being a Mets fan, playing against him for 8 years in Montreal. Yeah, and then poor guy had to finish his career in Baltimore, but that's okay. He probably played under Buck. No, he would have been a little before Buck. Anyway, so yeah, that is cool though that Guerrero Jr. hit a home run in Los Angeles when his dad played there. I mean, a lot of these legacy players that you and I, Adam, are a little bit older, in our late 30s and 40s, and we have seen a lot of these senior players play. Bo Bichette's dad I watched here in Colorado, Vlad Guerrero. Everybody seems to be on the Blue Jays, but anyway. So the next kind of thing we're going to talk about is, we talk about these City Connect jerseys. Whenever they get launched, we talked about them at the beginning of the year. The Colorado Rockies unveiled their City Connect jerseys for this season. Being here in Colorado and seeing what they did, I can't say that I love them. I can't say that I even necessarily like them. They sort of look like I don't know, almost like a softball jersey. They look like the Colorado license plate, which is kind of silly. So it's all green pants, green mountains with like white, like almost like snow on the mountains, and then a white shoulder and sleeve, and then the green lettering, and then block numbers in the back with a purple outline to represent the Rockies. They also have a purple line around the sleeve. On the sleeve, there is a little yellow tag, which is just like the tags on your license plate that you would see, which is super stupid in my opinion. And it says 5280 and Rocks, ROX on it, and it has what I assume is the stadium's latitude and longitude on the sleeve. It's whatever. You can go online and find that and read it. But the lettering looks exactly like the Colorado license plates, and the numbering looks exactly like the Colorado license plates, just the standard green one. And the funny thing about this is that here in Colorado, you have 50 different options of the license plate you want to pick. So like you can do, one for like the environment, one for like children, one for veterans, one for if like you're a hunter. There's like literally 50 different kinds. You can do every color like the Rockies have with the green one, which is the standard. You can do red, orange, yellow. You can do any color you want. Like it's bananas how many options people have out here for different types of license plates. So the fact that the Rockies went with this just is kind of weird. The purple line, which I kind of forgot to touch on, represents the purple seats line in that goes around the stadium, and I think that's like the 5280 mark, if I'm correct, Adam, in the seats.
Yeah, that purple rolling Coors Field represent an official mile above sea level.
Super stupid. The whole city. I live a little northwest of downtown, and we're actually a little bit higher than 5280, but like, this is so stupid. I mean, it's funny. Like the Mile High thing, I think it's cool that the city really backs that, but like, these jerseys are terrible in my opinion. The only thing I really love about it is that like when you drive into Colorado, the welcome to Colorado sign is welcome to colorful Colorado, and they did put that exact sign on the pant leg. You can barely see it. It's green and meshes in with the pants. So I don't know. Adam, what do you think? You're non-biased. You don't live here. What do you think?
Again, interesting concept. Not the way I thought Colorado would go with their jerseys, looking to a license plate theme for it. It's just, again, I think you hit when it said it looks like a softball uniform I would see playing in my company softball league. I think I have seen this in one of my company softball games, if I'm not mistaken. It's just
They should have mixed like Red Rocks into it. They could have mixed like. I
The
mean, you got to put
Colorado
the.
sunset or something, like the
You
sunset
could,
over the
yeah,
mountains or something. I
yeah.
have my sister-in-law used to works out in Colorado. And I have a couple of things from Colorado. I have some, and they have like a Colorado show with like the blue, yellow, red, orange sea
Yeah,
over the
the
mountains.
flag. That's what they should have done. They should have done the Colorado flag because it's freaking iconic. Like, it's everywhere in Colorado. Like, I have a shirt. You might have seen me wear it on the podcast if you watch on YouTube. The Colorado flag is legit. I mean, it almost looks like the Cubs C, but it's like I think it is a red letter C, and then like Adam said, it has like a sunset looking drop back. And if the Rockies should have done that with the mountains involved as well. So like if they'd have done that, but then they did the mountains in the background you could even done it in purple, right? And then just kept white pants and did some purple trim and shit like that. But then done the Colorado flag like across the front instead of the Colorado. It looks so. I don't know.
I'm not gonna say it does look silly when you look at the picture, and we got Charlie Blackman on our show notes here, just kind of showing up the uniform. The white belt just they talked to the equipment manager with Colorado, and he asked them which belt would work with this jersey. He said a white belt because it stands out. I would have been like, nope, put a green belt on, don't even see it.
If you put a green belt on, it looks like they're wearing a jumper, though, or like a onesie, because like there would be just no break between the pants and the shirt because the paint, like the green, is the exact. Like it literally just looks like a big green mountain, which is fine, I guess. But
I mean,
I was gonna say one other thing. I can't remember what I was gonna say now about it. Oh. Somebody on Twitter made this joke, and I texted Adam the same thing. But
yeah.
They look like they work for the Colorado Department of Transportation. It's a fail for me. Like when they could have. I think they could have done better with the Colorado flag. Definitely not my favorite release of this year, and probably in the bottom. Oh man, I think the Diamondbacks might only have the only one that I don't. Yeah, Diamondbacks and Rockies are probably the bottom two for me. Washington's just meh.
For me, bottom two would be Boston and Colorado. I'm just not a fan of the Boston. I understand the Boston Marathon, but the hat looks like the LA Bruins college hat. It looks like they just went to the Bruins school and like, can we just borrow 27 hash from you? Thank you, and left.
You know, what's funny is like the Boston one's actually growing on me. That's funny. It's not that bad. I mean, nobody's gonna touch the Sox, and Miami is a clear second in my opinion.
Space City.
Space City is legit.
Yeah.
Like that's up there as well. That's the best one of this year so far. Kansas City's is fine. It's just kind of meh with the jersey. I don't like the jersey number on like the rib cage in the front. It just, I don't know. I just don't like it. It just doesn't pop to me. It's like Colorado's jersey numbers on the opposite rib, and on the left rib cage. But it's a little bit bigger. I don't know. Like the hat is stupid for Colorado. I don't know. I wish they'd have done the flag. As soon as you said that, man, that made me think that'd have been a lot better. I'm really curious to see what Milwaukee and San Diego and the Angels do. San Diego's probably the one I'm looking forward to the most because I used to live there. So that's in the next. We got 2 this month with the Angels and the Brewers releasing theirs this month, and then the Padres will be next month. So that'll be super exciting. But enough City Connect jersey talk. Unless you have any more comments, Adam, you look like you were like super.
Tip
of your tongue.
The jerseys will make their on-field debut this Saturday against the Braves. So we'll have to see them on TV. I'm very interested to see them on TV and how they look.
They're just going to blend in with the grass, bro. They're just going to be running around there with these white shoulders, and you're just not going to be able to see Connor Joe out there running around in the outfield, or poor Chris Bryant's on DL. But
it's gonna be like if they're playing on a green screen. Half of them,
oh, that's funny. That's funny. Good thing the hats are kind of white. The hats are stupid too. I mean, man, you know what? The ownership of Colorado is stupid as hell. They suck. So this doesn't surprise me. They probably were just driving more like, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Oh yeah, hey, look at that license plate. Let's do it. Let's do that.
Done. Nike, get Nike on the phone.
Like, I mean, even when you think of license plates, like there's probably a few like license plate that stick out. You know, you got the Sunshine State,
New York license plate,
New York license plate with the Statue of Liberty. Florida has the state, and it was the orange.
Yeah,
orange
they got the Sunshine State, so they got the orange in the middle. A lot of plates you see down here in Florida are the Walt Disney 50th anniversary plates that they came out with. A lot of cars that swapped over that, so that kind of like outdoes that one. Georgia State plates with a peach on it though. Those stand out to me because I can always tell a Georgia driver down here in Florida.
Probably driving like an asshole.
I mean, I drive like an asshole too, so I can't complain.
California's. I don't know why I thought California was a Sunshine State, but theirs is just the California, and then it's all white. I was looking at a top ranked license plate, and this Google search is just shit. So, sorry, I digress. Still, this sucks. This is stupid. Colorado, what are you doing? Stupid Rockies. You should have went with the flag. Man, can we get a redo? If the Mets come out with a City Connect and it sucks, I'm gonna be so pissed. Better be awesome. They better beat the Yankees to it and take the Statue of Liberty. That's all I gotta say. They'll probably do the Apple. I guarantee they do the Apple in some way, shape, or form.
Probably so. That's probably a safe bet.
That's the whole Mets thing. They'll just have the little apple popping out of the hat in some way. All right, enough City Connect horse shit because I'm furious with this jersey. All right, so some teams out there in the Major League Baseball have started to make some roster moves. The Mets actually optioned Dom Smith down to AAA. They brought up this kid, Nick Plummer, a few days ago. He's raking. He has more home runs than Dom Smith and J.D. Davis, two quote-unquote power hitters for the Mets in 2 games than they do all year and even into last year. So Mets kicked him to AAA. Adams White Sox designated Dallas Keuchel down to AAA. With
They outright released his butt from the South Side. Dallas Keuchel is no longer on the South Side. He was released by the team.
That's okay. So Lucas was talking to me about this and was like, "Oh, why does everybody want Keuchel?" And I'm like, "Why would anybody trade for Dallas Keuchel?" But I did not know that they outright released him. You said designate in the notes.
Well, that's why I was going by MLB. When I looked a little further and I didn't change it. No, Dallas Keuchel was released by the White Sox after his last outing. I mean,
he had a 2.16 whip, and that's walks plus hits divided by innings pitched, if you don't know what that is. 1.25 is probably good-ish. 1.5 is getting kind of mid. 2.16 is just terrible. That's awful.
I mean, he was 2-5 with a 7.88 ERA in 32 innings, 20 strikeouts. I mean, he was not the same pitcher that when we signed him back in 2020. Obviously, he had that great year in the shortened season, finished 5th in the AL Cy Young that year. 2021 had an up and down year, but it was just. And the White Sox gave him plenty of chances this year just to kind of turn around. Says like, I can turn around, I can straighten the ship out. They thought the bullpen would be. They thought about putting him in the bullpen, but they didn't think that'd be a viable option for him and a good fit for a team. So after his last start versus Boston, he got released by a team, and they brought up Danny Mendick in his place. So yeah, Dallas Keuchel. is going to be a free agent probably here shortly, and we'll see who claims him. I don't know if a team's out there looking for a starting pitcher. Who would claim him? Who do you think would actually go out and sign him for the rest of the season? Which team we think would actually go out and get him?
The Reds. But they're probably building on young talent. I guess maybe maybe the Mariners. Here, let's look at. I want to look at something here. If it was anybody but Keuchel, I would say the Mets. The Mets have been starting a guy that comes out of the pen most of the time. So I wouldn't say him, or I wouldn't say them. But let me see who has shit for pitching right now. Pitching as starting pitching update. Ooh. I wonder, like, the White Sox are pretty bad, but I'm wondering if it's because of Keuchel. I'm just looking at like WHIP as a. Let's just look at team ERA. There we go. We'll look at this. Washington, Arizona, Kansas City, Baltimore, Miami are the bottom 5. Miami could, I guess. All those teams aren't really trying to push for a starter. I mean, the Mets are possible. Atlanta could be a possibility. I don't know if anybody's going to sign him.
I mean, I could see him going back to Atlanta. That's where he was in 2019 before he left that team. So I could see him going back to Atlanta. I just don't know who will pick him up if the team is going to take a chance on him. I mean, you never know. I mean, he's still, if they're looking for someone just to kind of finish out the season, fill innings, he's definitely a guy who will go out there and give you at least 5 innings of quality baseball. But I just don't know if he'll give you 5 strong innings of baseball anymore. So,
I guess what's the threshold between quality with an almost 8 ERA? What's quality about that?
Not giving up 6+ runs in a game.
Like, it's a 5.8. That's a 9-run stat, Adam. Not sure if you knew that, but
I mean,
so 6 is very possible in that short amount. Anyway, so best of luck, Dallas. You were not so good for Adam's White Sox. He hates you. White Sox also, Tim Anderson is out until late June with a strained right groin. So prayers up for Tim Anderson. The Rays today placed Wander Franco on the 10-day IL with a right quad sprain. It is the 10-day. Yeah.
Yes, 10-day IL.
Phillies placed Gene Segura on IL for 10 to 12 weeks with a right index finger fracture. That sounds painful.
Yeah, I think he took that when he was trying to square up a bunt. I think he took a pitch off his finger, and that's where he fractured his index finger. And if you ever try to square up a bunt and you don't square it up correctly, and that ball hits you right in the knuckle, right in the finger, it hurts like hell.
You're a professional baseball player, dude. How do you do that? Did he not keep his fingers back behind the bat? I mean, you're not supposed to put your fingers all the way around the bat.
No, when you bunt, you're supposed to you have your backhand holding it, but you're supposed to keep the top hand like underneath it. And when you bunt, you're supposed to drop the bat down to lay the bunt down to first base. Catch it, then drop it. So he must have just either was gripping it too high on one end, and that's just a painful injury to go for, especially with that pitch coming in so fast, and probably hit him square in the knuckle on that one.
What a dummy. What a dummy. He's on my fantasy team, so I'm going to go drop his ass right now. Because he's been a bum. Just kidding. So Tigers also placed Joey Wentz, or is Joey Wentz going to need more testing regarding his left shoulder strain? Not sure if he's going on IL or not as of yet. So I was reading an article earlier today about injuries and the shortened or the lockout hangover, and there's actually less injuries this year than last year, but we're starting to see more and more as we progress through the season. Do you think like this is the part of the season where we're going to see more injuries, or do you think these are just it's just what's going to happen and there's really no difference from year to year?
I mean, I think it's just going to be what we're seeing at this point in the season. There's really nothing, in my opinion, that's going to change with the injuries that we see. I mean, you're going to have a player try to make a play like Tim Anderson did. He made a play against the Cubs, went out, grabbed field the ball, throw it, and just kind of strained his right groin, making the play. You can see these players trying to just, I guess, make the play that they probably shouldn't be making or should probably just let go in order just to save a run. So I don't think it's going to be lockout related. Like you said, there's less injuries this year, and we started the season incredibly rapid fire, short spring training. I think it's just going to be the same from year to year, especially going forward. I mean, we'll probably see some more players return from injuries, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. End of June, we'll hopefully see some of these star players return. But in the end, I think it's going to be the same.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we've seen a lot of we're through almost 2 months, 40-ish games for a lot of teams. 50 games actually for a lot of teams. So we're getting to the point of the season where we're going to start seeing managers on the hot seat heading into June and getting into the later part of the year, mid-season. Adam, what managers do you see right now as potential guys on the hot seat, guys that could either lose their job mid-season or get fired at the end of the year?
I'm going to start in Philadelphia. Joe Girardi, Philadelphia. This team was supposed to be contending with New York, contending with Atlanta. They're 21-29, 420 win percentage. They're 13 games back in the East, 3-7 in their last 10. Unfortunately, on a 5-game skid. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to blame injuries on one team performing badly, but Philadelphia I thought they were going to be a lot better than what they are right now. I thought with the addition of Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos. Okay, yeah, Castellanos is a Philly, right?
Correct.
Yeah, Castellanos with the Philly, teaming up with Bryce Harper. It just hasn't clicked for that team. Their offense isn't clicking. Their pitching is just
shit.
You
know what their biggest problem is? Their biggest problem is defense. Their defense lets them down so much. And like having Kyle Schwarber in the field is a liability all the time. And now you have Segura, who's going to be out for an extended period of time. Their third baseman is a young kid, Bohm, he's got a great bat, but his defense is suspect. So, and they're pitching to like outside of Wheeler, who Wheeler's even been a little suspect. And their bullpen is terrible. Brad Hand was added. Jeurys Familia from the Mets was added. Knebel was added. All of them have been mediocre at best, if not just downright bad. So I think Philly will figure it out. Girardi's not a bad manager, but they're definitely not performing as they should. Yeah. Mets have beat the brakes off them this year already. I think they have like a 8 that 8-3 or 9-2 record against them already, and that is not going to win your division when you're playing against division opponents like that. Let me check the other. Let's see here, Philly against Atlanta is 2-2. Against Miami, they are 1-3 against Miami.
Ugh.
Yeah, 3-9 against the Mets, and they have not played Washington yet. Interestingly enough, so yeah, Philly's just not not performing well at all. So I don't know if I could see Girardi's pretty much I don't know. I could see it. I mean, if they suck this bad all the way through the year, then I could definitely see Girardi getting hosed. Um, who else you got, Adam?
I'm looking over Seattle, Scott Cervez of Seattle. Seattle getting underperforming since the beginning of the season. 21-28, 429 win percentage, 11 games back in AL West. They're 4-6 in their last 10. Currently have a win streak of 1. But again, Seattle, a team that we thought was just going to be competing from start to finish of this season, just with the way they ended last year, just kind of a game out. We thought they had enough to get into the playoffs, but just fell short. What do you think if Seattle continues to underperform and let's say they finish the season under 500, out of the playoffs? Do you think that his job's in jeopardy, or do you think he survives?
What year is this for him?
I think this is I'll have to look it up. Year 2. Let me look that up real quick.
I mean, if you look into the deeper metrics, they have a -9 run differential. They're in a fairly tough division with the Angels and the Astros. They haven't played teams above 500 that poorly. They're only 3 games under 500 against teams that have played 500 baseball this year. They're 12-10 at home. Their biggest downfall is their road record, where they're 9-18. So, if they could clean some of that up, I think that they have a chance to right the ship and for Scott Cervez to stick around. But we'll see. Like we've said, like their youngsters are underperforming. They do have some guys like Crawford and Reynolds. Anyway,
Mark Reynolds.
That have been Mark Reynolds.
Oh no, I'm thinking.
I don't think that's right, bro.
No, anyway,
that's time traveling.
That is.
JP Crawford's definitely a person. Julio Rodriguez is who I'm thinking of. Yeah. So those two guys are good baseball players. Jarrett Kelenic is allegedly good, but we have yet to see him really bust out. So yeah, I mean, I don't know enough about Scott Cervez to say one way or the other, or Seattle's ownership if they'll put up with that. So,
and he's been managing a team since 2016 too, so he's been there for a while.
Well, yeah, he's gone. There's no way I'd keep him if he doesn't get closer this year than he did last year, especially with the improvements they did make in the pitching staff.
Yeah, and Robbie Ray has been kind of very underperforming from his Cy Young season last year. He's kind of been a little bit of a disappointment out in Seattle. So the next manager I have, Chris, is Tony La Russa, my White Sox. White Sox are currently 23-24, 489 winning percentage, 5 back in the AL Central. They're 5-5 in the last 10 and have lost their current streak of losing 1. I mean, he's brought in to replace Ricky Renteria, who got the Sox to the playoffs for the first time in over a decade in 2020. Couldn't get him out of the wild card round. Couldn't close out the season and win the division in 2020 to get that home field advantage in that crazy playoff series. La Russa comes in. Obviously, the White Sox click from start to finish. They win the division by a handful of games. They pretty much owned that division last year. Lose to the Astros in 4 games. And this year, they start off great. They start off winning their first 3 series. We thought they were going to kind of pick up where they left off last year. And then they dropped 6 in a row, both to Cleveland and Minnesota. And now they just can't seem to be a game over 500. So they'll get a game over 500 at one time and fall back. So they can't seem to get over that 500 mark and stay over 500. They've dealt with a lot of injuries. They've had pitching situations, bullpen situations, offense situations, defense situations. So kind of a mess from start to finish in that lineup. Give me your thoughts, Chris.
I mean, you bring in a guy like La Russa because he has the experience, he has the the winning pedigree. So you would think that he'd be able to correct things that are going wrong. Unfortunately, he hasn't been able to do that yet, and I don't know if he will in 2 years. You would think there would be actually a big improvement this year over last year, even with as well as they did last year. I don't know. I don't know if you give him another year after this. I mean, it's kind of like one of those things where you bring he's supposed to be the last piece of the puzzle. You have all this talent on that roster, and then you bring in a guy to be the captain of that ship, and he just let you down. Yeah, I don't know if he makes it another year after this if they continue on this path.
I mean, a lot of people point to Tony Russa if the Sox don't turn the season around very quickly, because it's now getting to that point to where it's in June and we're under 500. We're in second place. We're not over the Twins hump yet. But, I mean, you never know. You've still got 4 months to play. So, I mean, maybe they could turn the season around. Maybe they could save his job if his job is on the line. But we'll just kind of have to see going forward. And then the last manager I have, Chris, is Alex Cora over in Boston. Boston's 23-27, 460 winning percentage, 11.5 back in the AL East, 5-5 in the last 10. Currently, streak of losing 2. So Alex Cora was let go by the Red Sox as part of the Astros cheating scandal. Served a suspension. After his suspension, he was brought back on for the Red Sox. I don't know. The way the Red Sox are playing right now, they are catching fire at the right time. I think they are improving as a team overall. But do you keep them on if you don't make the playoffs, and especially if you don't stay competitive in this AL East, which is starting to become very competitive?
He's been there for a while, right?
Yeah, it came in
in and out of the, you know what I'm like.
Yeah, in and out of the organization. I think he came in 2018. I think he replaced John Farrell. After the 2017 season, not 100% sure.
I mean, since May 10th, they're like 13-6. They're hitting really well right now. They have a plus run differential, which is surprising for a team that is in fourth. They're plus 16. Their expected win-loss is 27-23, which would actually put them. I mean, it still put them in the same spot, but it put them 1 game back as opposed to 11. It would put them 1 game back of Tampa as opposed to 5 games back of Tampa. So as long as they keep playing the way they have been playing recently, I think that they'll keep Cora on. I mean, not going to the playoffs, I don't think necessarily is a reason to fire a guy that has been successful there in the past. So I think Cora's probably safe as long as they continue to win baseball games the way they've been doing lately.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if Boston continues to win, play better, get better, I think it's job safe. But again, that AL East is going to be very competitive, and
Tough,
it's,
tough
it's
division, big time.
yeah, it's probably going to be the toughest division in the American League, at least in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, the West is good. Texas is playing probably above their heads right now, but the top of the West with Houston and LA is good. The Twins are actually pretty good, so I would definitely say there's four teams in the East that are solid. So I would agree with you there. Speaking of the NL East or the AL East, and also the Twins at the same time, let's get into our weekend preview, Adam. Upcoming series this weekend, we got four really good ones. Um, two American leagues, or one American League, two National Leagues, and one Inter-League series. First series being the Minnesota Twins versus the Red Hot Blue Jays. Game one, you have Sonny Gray going for the Twins, 3-1 with a 2.41 ERA versus Yusei Kikuchi for the Blue Jays, 2-1 with a 3.48 ERA. Second game, Dylan Bundy for the Twins with a 3-2 record, 4.76 ERA. His numbers are a little bit better than his ERA would indicate versus Jose Barrios, 3-2 with a 5.62 ERA. He continues to kind of pitch not fantastic, a little bit better, but not great. Game three features Devin Smeltzer versus Kevin Gossman. Smeltzer with a 2-0, 1.50 ERA. Gossman 5-3, so he's getting a lot of innings in his starts and a 2.51 ERA. I think the Blue Jays straight sweep the Twins. They are red hot and have a much better offense than Minnesota does. Even though Brian Buxton is hitting the cover off the ball, I still think the Blue Jays win 3-0.
Yeah, I'll give the Blue Jays the edge in this series. Their offense is just clicking right now. Give me a sweep as well. I'll go with you on the sweep. So that one to the Blue Jays sweep. It's just you just can't bet against a hot team at the right time when they're playing. It's hard to bet against a hot team. Like, I mean, Minnesota has been a lot better than what we thought they were going to be this year. They're playing a lot better. I mean, they're leading a very, I'll say, weak division in the AL Central with the White Sox not being as good. The Guardians kind of hanging around, and then you got the Twins and the Tigers and Royals, who are just kind of being the bottom feeders of that division right now. So, yeah, I'll give a sweep to that series as well, and I think it's going to be definitely a lot of offense with Buxton, Carlos Correa hitting for Minnesota, going up against Guerrero, Bo Bichette, Biggio,
George Springer.
Yeah, George Springer, former teammates kind of going at it too. So,
well, then I was just thinking you got Barrios facing against the Twins, his former team, who traded him to the Blue Jays. All right, second series, Mets, Dodgers, two of the best teams in the National League right now. Taijuan Walker, 3-0, 2.83 ERA versus Tony Gonsolin for the Dodgers, who's 5-0 with a 1.80 ERA. Game two, Chris Bassett for the Mets, 4-2 with a 3.66 ERA versus Tyler Anderson, who is 6-0 with a 2.9 ERA, which is kind of fucking ridiculous. I can't believe he's playing so well. Game three features David Peterson, 2-0 with a 3.03 ERA for the Mets versus Walker Buehler. I don't think these numbers are right for Walker Buehler. He's been getting shelled. 6-1 with a 3.22 ERA, but we'll believe it because the internet said so. Game four, Mets is TBD versus Urias for the Dodgers, who is not winning, but still has a good ERA, 3-5 with a 2.89 ERA. I would expect the Mets to throw out Trevor Williams from the bullpen in this game. They tried to call a kid up from AAA last week, Thomas Zaspucki or some crazy name, and he sucked. He was terrible. The Giants shelled him so hard. It was like 9-0 in the second. That was the craziest game though, because the Mets ended up coming back to take a 12-9 lead, and then ended up losing the game 13-12 in like 11 innings. It was crazy. Jock Peterson had 3 home runs, two 2-run shots, and a 3-run shot to tie the game in the bottom of the 8th, bottom of the 9th. Craziest game I've seen in a while. Anyway, this being in LA is concerning. The Mets, I think the Mets can win at least one of these. They don't like Peterson and Williams concern me. Walker and Bassett, I could see a series split, but I could also see the Dodgers winning 3. But then again, the Dodgers have the weirdest just runs of shittyism where they just suck. But both these teams are red hot right now going into this series. Mets have swept their last 2 series. They're 8-2 over their last 6, or 8-2 over their last 10. Dodgers are 6-4. They are on a 2-game losing streak. So it's concerning when a team that good, that is 33-16, is on a 2-game losing streak, because they're gonna bounce back. Positive regression is coming. Mets are 35-17. Dodgers are 33-16. Both have the same winning percentage. Here's the thing about the Dodgers. They have a plus 116 run differential and are on pace for the biggest run differential in all of baseball historically. So they're on pace for a 420 run differential if they keep up this pace, which would be more than I think it's the 1939 Joe DiMaggio Yankees, which was like 416 or 419 or some shit like that. So the Dodgers are first in weighted runs created. They're first in starting pitcher ERA. They're first in bullpen ERA. They're first in defensive efficiency. Dodgers are a very good baseball team. So yeah, if it's a series split, I'll be happy. What do you think, Adam?
I mean, when I saw this series line up, I was like, this is going to be interesting, and depending on where the 2 teams stand in the standings. And you got both teams at the top of their division playing incredible baseball. Dodgers, we thought they're going to be at the top of the NL West. They're at the top of the NL West. Mets, we thought they're going to be good. They're actually a little better than I thought they're going to be this year. But the Dodgers are the one team that I would worry about, just because I don't know which Dodger team's going to show up. I mean, they struggled against
the
Arizona.
Phillies, man, and Arizona, and Pittsburgh, man. Pittsburgh took 2 out of 3.
They're struggling against the teams that they're supposed to beat, and they're not winning against the teams that they are supposed to beat. So they struggle against the bad teams, but they also struggle against the good teams. So I guess the record is kind of a foreshadowing of, we don't know who this Dodger team really is, unfortunately. Right. And the Mets, I think, are the better team on paper, but I'm very hesitant to give them a series win on this one. But you know what? I think I'm going to jump that the Mets take a 3-1 series win. I'll jump. I'll say the Mets take 3 out of 4.
So, the thing about the Dodgers is when they win pretty big. And when they lose, they don't lose by much. So that's what's keeping the run differential so big. I mean, they won 14-1 against Arizona. They swept Arizona. They won 14-1, 6-4, 3-2, and 3-1. So they did have a couple of tough games in there, but they did lose to Pittsburgh 5-6 and 3-5. So they're losing by 1 to 3 runs and winning by 4 to 6 runs. So that's why you're seeing such a big run differential. But you're right. You don't know which Dodger team is going to show up. Biggest thing about the Mets this year is they're doing it without the 2 Cy Young Hall of Fame caliber pitchers. They're winning in lots of different ways. They're winning late late inning ball games. They are at one point were the best run differential team from the fifth inning on in baseball. So their bullpen's not fantastic, but it's been good enough. Their closer, Edwin Diaz, has been phenomenal. He's faced 88 batters this year and struck out 40 of them. So it's going to be a great series. I'm really looking forward to watching it. I don't watch a ton of Dodgers baseball only because they don't start until really late, so they're ending really late, even for me in Mountain Time. Poor Adam, is almost waking up when the Dodgers end their.
I've woken up a couple times where like some of these West Coast games are finishing up. When I was working like these crazy 3 o'clock shifts with Disney. I woke up and it was a Ducks playoff game, and they had just ended like an hour before I had to go to work. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" But I mean, it happens when you try to watch a West Coast team on the East Coast.
Definitely. What was your prediction here, Adam?
I'll get the Mets a 3-1 series win.
3-1 Mets. All right.
I'll jump a little.
All right. Next big series we're going to preview is the Padres versus the Brewers. Padres cannot hit for shit lately. Brewers are coming on strong. Game 1 is Sean Manaea versus Adrian Hauser. Game 2, Joe Musgrove versus Corbin Burns. Game 3, Al Gore. Just kidding. I can't remember the kid's first name. Versus Aaron Ashby, and then Clevenger versus Lauer in game 4. All of these pitchers are solid with mostly winning records and sub-4 ERAs. Not going to go through all of them because these are two good pitching matchups. Like Musgrove is phenomenal. Musgrove versus Burns in game 2 is probably the best pitching matchup of the weekend. Joe Musgrove being 5-0 with a 1.86 ERA and Corbin Burns being 6-1 with a 1.95 ERA. That might be your 1-2 Cy Young voting right now in the National League. Definitely a game I'll go between with the Mets and Dodgers. Actually, the Brewers game is going to be on early because it's in Milwaukee. So I'm gonna take the Brewers 3-1 in this because I think the Padres have just been playing like absolute dog shit.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that the Padres are kind of like the Dodgers, almost saying that we don't know which version of the Padres we're going to get. Obviously, they're still missing Tatis Jr. in that lineup, and hopefully we'll get him back here shortly. But I think Milwaukee, they had a fairly impressive series with the Cardinals. They had one blowout game, but overall they played the Cardinals pretty close. They're playing the Cubs right now. They swept the doubleheader, dropped the third game, and I believe I don't know what they're doing right now, but let me look that up real quick. Let's see what the Brewers are doing.
Oh, wow. This Marlins-Rockies series is bananas. Oh, my God. Orioles are smacking the Mariners.
Brewers right now are 3-3 with the Cubs in the bottom of the 7th.
Dodgers down to the Pirates again. Jesus. Today is crazy. Freaking Orioles are actually playing some pretty good baseball lately.
Yeah, Orioles are shocking right now. I'll go with you on this one, Chris. I'll go a 3-1 Brewers series win with the Padres just because the Padres offense has been lacking over lately. They haven't been hitting to what I thought they would be hitting right now. Obviously, being down your one big bat kind of does that, but until they get Tatis Jr. back, I think we're going to see this inconsistency with the Padres offense. So it's just, I think the NL West is going to be a little more inconsistent than what we originally thought it was going to be.
Yeah, definitely possible. Last game of the weekend, the Los Angeles Angels are going to Philadelphia to play the lowly Phillies. They are they're okay. I don't know why Team Rankings thinks that the Phillies are decent, but they're really not. They're shit. No, I'm just kidding. The Angels have Chase Silseth throwing on Friday versus Zach Efline. The Angels got Michael Lorenzen on Saturday versus Zach Wheeler. Patrick Sandoval on Sunday versus Kyle Gibson. All these pitchers are actually fairly solid, except for Efline has a little bit of an inflated ERA at 5. But everybody else has a winning record except for Wheeler, who's 3-3 with a 3.16 ERA. Adam, I'll let you go first on this one. Who you got?
So interesting enough, the Angels are coming off a sweep against the Blue Jays where they kind of they obviously scored a lot of runs, but just can't get over the Blue Jays offense right now, which is just kicking on all fire. And now the Angels are facing a dangerous New York team. Their game today was postponed, so it looks like they'll play a doubleheader here in the next couple days. So it looks like they got a doubleheader on Thursday, day-night doubleheader, before they come to Philadelphia. So that's just going to be a tough way to enter Philadelphia, is going through the Yankees. I'll take the Phillies. I'll give the Phillies edge in this series over here. 2-1 Philly series win for me.
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 Angels. I don't think the Phillies have it figured out yet. Until I see them do better, I can't take the Phillies to win a series. But anything is possible. You know, Wheeler and Gibson are solid pitchers and are they can win games at any time for that team. And their offense has guys, you know, Harper and Schwarber and Castellanos and Bohm that can hit. So, I mean, it's not like the Phillies can't do it. I got to see it before I give any confidence, because I was pretty high on the Phillies coming into the season. I thought they would be pretty decent. Their defense is terrible, though. I think they have the most. There's a stat I saw the other day when I was watching them. They have the most or least like expected outs or something like that, or outs above average or something like that. I think it was like the least amount of outs above average. So the average team gets X amount of outs per whatever batter or whatever the case may be, plate appearance or whatever. And the Phillies were the basically the lowest rated defense in baseball is what it comes to. So until they get their shit together, I can't pick them to win, especially against a team like Anaheim, who's probably pissed off that they got swept by the Blue Jays and won a series win on the weekend.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
Well, all right, Mr. Kunos, it's been fun chit-chatting baseball with you. I think we're into June. We're 50 games in. We're close to a third of the way through the season. So I think we have a good grasp of who the good teams are and who the teams that have some work to do are. Trade deadline's a little bit later this year, so we're still 2 months away from the trade deadline. So we have all of June, all of July. Trade deadline is August 2nd. We'll continue to watch that. We'll talk hot teams. We'll talk MVPs and Cy Youngs coming up. But yeah, have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Enjoy the baseball games we've talked about and enjoy your favorite team. Adam, anything else for the folks?
Nope. Happy June, everyone. Have a great month, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Good night, everybody.